Will he get the death penalty or not? That's been the question all along in the trial of Boston bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, convicted yesterday on all 30 of 30 counts. Now jurors must decide if he lives or dies. Peter Johnson Jr. joins us to break down the history of the death penalty in the United States and whether he'll face it. First of all, let's start with when. When else have we seen cases like
we've seen 36 federal executions, Steve, since 1930. 55 inmates are currently on federal death row. The last person executed was in 2003. Two terrorists have been sentenced to death in the United States. Oklahoma bomber Timothy McVeigh, executed in 2001, and Hassan Akbar, who murdered two fellow soldiers during the 2003 invasion of Iraq. He was sentenced in 2005, but not yet executed.
Now, Mr. Tsarnaev's defense attorney is a woman by the name of Judy Clark.
Yes.
Tell us about her.
She's one of the most renowned capital defenders in the country, one of the top lawyers in the country for defendants facing prominent death penalty cases. She personally is a strong opposition to the death penalty. She has called it, quote, legalized homicide. She saved a bunch of clients from the death penalty, including Susan Smith. Remember her?
Absolutely.
The mother who drowned her two children. Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. Jared Loughner. Unfortunately, remember him, the Tucson, Arizona shooter. And then Eric Rudolph, the Atlantic Olympics bomber. She did not save Timothy McVeigh. He was executed in 2001, as we mentioned.
Well, if the past is prologue, what has happened in similar cases to the Boston bombing?
Timothy McVeigh, he killed 168 in the Oklahoma City bombing. The defense during that trial was the bombing was a justifiable response to what McVeigh believed were government crimes. Executed in 2001. Ted Kaczynski killed 3 people and injured 23, planting and mailing homemade bombs. He beat the death penalty by striking a plea deal sentence. Now he's serving 8 life sentences in prison.
Ultimately, Peter, the big question is, what are the chances of the death penalty?
It's split in terms of public opinion across the country and in Boston. We know that the jury requires a unanimous vote for all 12 jurors. During voir dire, the jury pool was what they would call death qualified, meaning they were asked, will you be able to vote to execute the defendant here? But in a recent poll, the majority of Boston folks said they wouldn't choose death for Tsarnaev. Only 27% would put him to death. Yesterday, the Boston Globe said no death for Tsarnaev. The Catholic bishops have spoken out against it. Parents and relatives have spoken for it. So the issue is, should he rot in prison for the rest of his life, or should he rot in hell? This will be a test of America's sensibilities in terms of execution and how we punish terror. I have a suspicion, though, that this verdict will surprise a lot of people based on the intensity of this act. They will try and depict him as a sympathetic, empathetic figure who was put upon by his brother, put upon by circumstance, sociological Tsarnaev. I think there's a better than 50% chance that they will give the death penalty in this case. Better than 50% chance.
All right, Peter Johnson Jr. with that prediction. Peter, thank you very much.